just say?
He said there's a storm coming in.
I know.
Alright. Welcome back, my little family of misfits. Welcome back to Misfit Island. This is where all the little misfits, this is where we go to prepare for perilous times as we walk in this world full of deception. And if you're new to the channel, you're like, well, how do you guys do that? We do it by reading the Word of God. Well, if we read the book daily, we go through this book daily, and it's going to definitely help you as we walk this walk. So here on Misfit Island, my name is Timothy. On Misfit Island, I am Misfit number 1. And our mission here, our goal here, one of them, is to find Misfit number 2. Because the scripture says when just one soul turns and gives their life to the Lord, there's a party in heaven. So I call this Milk for Babes. It's like my Milk for Babes session because I'm just like a basic blue collar Bible teacher. I don't, I'm not this this pastor or this this theologian or a scholar or like a universal or university teacher. I'm just just a basic blue. I just kind of just read through the Word of God, and we just decipher what He's telling us. I'm trying not to inject my own presuppositions in here. Just try to give you what I'm thinking. But I forgot where I was going with that. But it's the Milk for Babes. So yep, this is it said I think there's all kinds of verses that talks about it, but basically it says when you become a new Christian that you're like a baby, you're desiring the milk. So because I'm not this in-depth teacher, I'm just trying to feed you the milk, and every now and then I want to give you some like to affectionately call the tomahawk steak, give you some meat. And so on Taco Tuesday, so I try to do maybe I'm just doing like little chicken tacos, but I'm kind of going through the book of Revelation, and it's the only book. So the book of Revelation is the only book in the Bible that tells you that if you read this book, I promise you, I will bless you. It's the only book. I mean, obviously, if we want to read through the entire, all the scriptures, all 66 books. But the book of Revelation, He promises you, if you read this book, I am going to bless you. So anybody out there want a blessing? I know I do. So we're in the book of Revelation, and we're in chapter 13 right now. And if you want to know everything that led up to this, go back and watch my Taco Tuesdays. Get the word out. I have like I guess because of like some of the things I just feel like there's like all the things that are going to take place during the 7 years. I just don't feel like can fit. And the normal teachers will teach you that the rapture is going to happen, the preacher rapture. Well, people that believe in that, there's some people who don't believe in that either. Even though the scripture clearly teaches it, and all the early church fathers, Paul, Jesus, everybody taught it. So anyways, I don't want to get into that. But so they teach the rapture's going to happen. There's maybe a little gap period, which when I first started, had teachers teaching me about book of Revelation. Nobody talked about it either. It's like rapture, and then all of a sudden the 7-year tribulation starts. And then I started hearing teachers saying, no, it's not this, it's not that. It's when this Antichrist or this beast rises up, this world leader rises up and signs a peace or sign. What's it say? He it's not his signs that he's enforces a treaty that's already there, and it makes it for 7 years, and they're going to rebuild their temple and start this process. They say that that's when that's actually, that's legit, that's scriptural, that's in the word. That's when the 7-year period starts, and it really only talks about, Jesus talks about it in here, that the last 3.5 years is going to be the great tribulation, that it's going to be like that no man has ever seen since the history of man. And if you study history, if you look at mankind and what man has done to man over the last 6,000 years, the evil, you look at some of these wars, all the way back from the biblical days and what they did to the Jews, and it is brutal. And then, of course, we can see like, World War II, and, but it's so all that combined, it's going to be worse than that in these last 3.5 years. This beast, I think I went over last week with Daniel, talking about this fourth beast, and he was like fascinated by it, and it's like different than all the other beasts. And if you've seen my videos on that, I think this spiritual, this seed war from Genesis 3:15 is going to be revealed or open up, or they're going to come, manifest themselves. And I think that these things are going to be, it's going to be the fallen angels, or this angelic realm, or this, maybe they're going to create another hybrid race like they did in Genesis 6, to like these, like you see the soft cell of all these Marvel heroes that's going to save the planet, or these superhuman, Iron Man and stuff like that, Superman, Batman, all these, maybe it's going to be some kind of hybrid race of these men like that. But yeah, so and I look at the things that are going to take place, like starting in chapter 6. It's just it may be like the rider of the white horse may be the Antichrist, and he's at that time he signs this treaty, and all this stuff takes place during the 7 years. I mean, it may be, but I just feel like that all not even feel. I just, from reading, it's not like I feel, it's what I think or what I know, or what I deduct out what I'm reading. That just the rapture alone, and the chaos is going to happen after that, and how long it's going to take the world to recoup, and it's going to take too much time. But I may be wrong on all of that, and it may just be the 7 years, and it may just be chaos for the whole 7 years. But there's a bunch of scriptures that doesn't jive with that, and I've covered those too. But yeah, we're in the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Let's just dig in. I'm going to try to explain it, and if people, most people out there don't know anything about the Bible, they pretty much know about this part, the beast, the mark of the beast, 666, all that. So let's just go ahead and dig in and read it. All right, you ready? Book of Revelation, tomahawk steak, Taco Tuesday. These little chicken tacos, man, that's my favorite. I love chicken tacos. They will definitely be on my island during the millennial period. We're gonna have killer chicken tacos, but it's got to be like authentic. The shell is key. The tortilla that you cook it in. We're gonna have some killer pepperoni pizzas. We're gonna have some chocolate milkshakes on demand. We're gonna have tomahawk steaks. We're gonna have lobster. Those are my favorite things to eat. But anyways, I gotta get the perfect popcorn to watch our movies, because we're gonna be watching movies too. I hope we can. So whatever this plug in and play. I hope all these things is written in the scripture, we can this holographic 3D dimensional movie starts playing, and we can watch it. Anyways, let's get into the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 1. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. The beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority, and I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all of the world marveled and followed the beast, so that they worshipped the dragon and gave authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" Now, if you remember when I was going through chapter 6 and the 4 horsemen, and then you got the 5th seal and the 6th seal. The 6th seal are the men and women are hiding in their caves, and they know that God's judging them. They're saying rocks fall on us, and they're like, who can stand? Let me go read that. Verse 16, chapter 16. 6:16. So yeah, remember we'll start at 14. The sky receded as a scroll when it was rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. Remember, I told you those teachers are saying that this event and the one that's, in chapter 16 is the same event. Chapter 16 says the mountains are gone. The islands are gone. And here it says they're moved out of place. And the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, every slave, every free man, hid themselves in the caves, in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Who sits on the throne? It's the Father. And then the wrath of the Lamb, who's that? Jesus Christ. So these people know that the Father and the Son is judging them. And like I said, when I was reading it on camera, when I read this, however long ago that was, that maybe God is rolling back like a scroll, rolling back, and you can see the men and all. It's basically, it gives you every man on earth, every woman on earth can see that God's on the throne and Jesus Christ is judging them, and they're fearful and they hide. So they say, so the thing I want to get to says, fall on us or hide us from his face who sits on the throne from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of the wrath has come, and who is able to stand. So these people are like, they know it's God judging them, and it's like, nobody can stand against this guy. Who's able? And here it says, I said, this right here is it's not the Antichrist. So you got the four horsemen of the apocalypse. People try to say it's the Antichrist. He's on the scene. He does all these things. I'm saying it can't be because they're saying who can stand against God. They at this point, and so on the sixth seal, they know who can stand against God. So over here in chapter 13, and there's a lot of things that has taken place since then too. They're saying who is like this beast, who is able to make war with him. So now whoever survived all this madness up to this point, they're saying basically like this guy's God. Who can stand against him? So this, it's not the same. It's not the same event. It's not the same person. And remember, I told you I was talking about this beast is rising. So this beast is rising up, and it's the beast, or Satan, the dragon, is giving all this power to this guy that's rising up. Remember, I told you, these chapters, they'll like kind of like overview chapters or chronological overview. They'll give you like a wide out version, and they'll come back and zoom in on certain something that's taking place, and then maybe they'll go over here and give you some more detail of something's taking place at the same time. So this is kind of like an overview of like when this, and I think this happens, this whole thing is happening, this is happening before, I don't know if this is like, he gives him his authority, like this guy is coming on the scene, gives his authority before the 7-year treaty sign, or if this is like right before the midpoint, and then this guy gets his power where he just rose up and he killed the 2 witnesses that we read in chapter 11, I think. And then he gives this guy his power, and this is the guy that's going to go into the temple, say he's God. I mean, this is the guy that's going to do that, but I'm not sure the placement of where this takes place. I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out. I mean, like I said, I've heard this at least 50 times. Each time I read it, I get a little nugget, something else comes. But anyways, it talks about this man. So like these heads and these horns they're not. It's not this dragon with 7 heads and there's like a crown on him or whatever. And no, it's just like it's the beast system that's rising up. And if it's these 10, like I think it's like fallen angels or these hybrid races is on the planet again, like it was in Genesis 6. And it says these mighty men before and after. And I think it's the mighty men are these people. I don't think it's gonna be Elon Musk and George Soros' son or whatever. I think because it says if we were here, these people would deceive us too. If Elon Musk is one of these guys, I'm not deceived. Would you be deceived? So, anyways, when it says that the dragon gave his power and authority, saws that one of his head as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world marveled. So there is a description back in the Old Testament that kind of covers this in Zechariah. Let's see if I can find it. Zechariah. I'm not sure what part of the Old Testament that's in. Is it Zechariah or Zephaniah? No, it's Zechariah. So Zechariah. So yeah, he's talking. Chapter 11 is talking about the desolation of Israel, and it goes into this prophecy of these 2 shepherds, and this down here is talking about the first coming, and then chapter 12 was the deliverance of Judah. But So this just like some people believe this is the description of what just took place in Revelation 13, and it says he's talking about these, like I said, these two shepherds. In 17 it says, "Woe to the worthless shepherd who leaves the flock." Leaves the flock of what? The Jews or the Gentiles? Anyways, because some people talk about this beast that rises up from the sea. Some believe that he's a Jew. And then the says the other ones that comes up, there's two beasts here, so don't confuse them. The other one comes up from the land, and he keeps talking about these things. And he talks about these groups of people. And he always talks about these, like there's a group of people in the sea. I don't know. I think that's got something to do with these mighty men of old, this hybrid race that's going to come back onto the planet. Something that would just deceive us all. But anyways, this guy says that the sword shall be against his arm and against his right eye. His arm completely wither, and his right eye shall be totally blinded. And this guy is saying he's mortally wounded, and he's like people think he's dead, and then maybe it's like the two witnesses that just died and resurrected and went to heaven. Satan's doing his imitation of that. In the world and a lot of people say, when we read further, that because they want you to take the mark on your hand or your forehead, that's like in an allegiance to this guy, because his right hand is withered, his arm's withered, and he's like I am God. He's got like a Marilyn Manson eye or something, like a white eye and a black eye. And they're like, oh, I'm gonna take it on my hand because he's God, and then it's like, oh, I'm taking my forehead. But anyways, some people say that description of this worthless shepherd is this guy right here. And so, let's go on. Who's able to make war with this guy? Remember in chapter 6, they know it's God. It's like, who's able to make war? Who can stand up against him? Well, if this guy was on the scene, they'd be like, this guy can stand up against him. So when you combine those, he's not on the scene yet in chapter 6, on the 6th seal. The Antichrist isn't on the scene yet. The system's not on the scene yet. So, that's where I get that from. When I go back and say that in chapter 6, this is where I get it from. So it's saying, go read it and see if you agree. Or, as you maybe have your Bible right now and you're following along, saying, this guy's making sense. I don't know. But it's I'm telling you, people, I told you I did it for 30 years. People would teach me stuff, and then when I go read it, and I probably still do it on other books. So I haven't done it on Revelation because I really want to understand the timeline and all this, But I would go into it with my presuppositions. So when I'd read it, go, well, that means this. That means you read the white horse, well, it's the Antichrist. You read the red horse, well, it's the system. So when people have that and then they go read it, or you're telling them, especially like say if they're watching the video and they believe something and they hear this thing, this guy's crazy, turn it off. I love listening to people that have different opinions and different views. Unless it's if you're watching people and it totally goes against the Word of God, then I don't know if I'd spend my time watching them. Our time is it's another thing too. I'd like to thank you for watching this, because time is, you can't buy time, you can't take it back. It's limited. And, I thank you for watching this, and I'm hoping that, you're getting something out of it. But anyways, so for those people, when they're in that mindset, a lot of people get in this mindset, or doesn't, something's like going against what they truly believe, then usually they just ignore it or never read it or avoid it. Like I read yesterday with the book of Romans. I guarantee you 90% of the churches out there, if they played that video, they'd be like, oh my God, this guy's not a Christian. Because it's saying what they don't want to hear it. Most people today, all they got, in their scriptures talk about it too, in the last days, the people out there are going to have itching ears, and they're only going to hear what itches their ears. If it goes against what's itching their ears, they're going to turn you off, shut you out, ignore you, block you out, whatever. And what can you do? God told us beforehand that don't marvel. This is what it's going to be like. Everything's falling into place. It's all falling into place. So don't marvel. So, verse 5, it says, and he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Remember I told you. So all the way up until chapter 11, There is no time frame on things. I believe there's no time frame because it's taking place over a long period of time. There's a huge gap. And all these other scriptures that people try to twist and try to fit in, say, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and but the Jews burning the weapons, or they're at peace and there's no walls and they're in tranquility, and they try to make it fit in the 7 years. You can't make it fit in there. So anyways, now we're given time frames all the time. You know exactly when these things are happening. Boom, it's 3.5 years, 1,260 days, 3.5 years, times, times and a half of times, 1 year, times is 2 years, half a time is a half a year, so it's 3.5 years. I mean, just constantly. From now on, we're gonna know when these things are happening. So, and it's key. It's key to understand. And like I said, all the way up until chapter 11, there is no time frame to it. They don't give you, there's no hint or anything. There's no like an overview of something, and then and now we're going back in detail. No, the overview is like 11, and now we're going back in detail. So, verse 5. So we already read that. He was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. Who is that? Oh, I wonder who that could be. Those who dwell in heaven. Well, those are the angels. I don't think so. I just watched or listened to like 3 things. The Lord led them all to me for a reason. But these guys, I told you in chapter 6 that this crystal, I believe it was like the raptured saints. And then like each time it shows that sea is mingled with blood, this is a different group that comes up. And these guys is teaching, saying that 24 elders is the raptured church. I was like, it's pretty compelling. And they use the Old Testament to prove it, like something with David and how he had the government system he set up was like 24 groups of people, and these 24 groups was the entire governmental system. And so I don't know, that was pretty fascinating. I always thought that 24 people always, and he was talking about how people try to force things in there, and I always thought it was like the 12 apostles, because it fits, 12 apostles and the 12 patriarchs, but I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe that 24 elders is actually us. It's like the governmental system of all the believers, and then you got the new ones that come up and make up the sea and all that. Or maybe the crystal is the Old Testament saints that believed, looking forward to Jesus. Maybe that's them, and then the 24 elders is us. The rapture of the church. They didn't say anything about that. But anyways, so yeah, this he's blaspheming against God in heaven. His name is tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. I think that's us, but maybe not. Verse 7. It was granted to him make war with the saints. So now, after the rapture, the people are always classified as saints. And that's why we call them tribulation saints, because now he's going to make war against these guys. The people that are left behind, the people that, that at this point I would imagine they're all in hiding, because they've already, maybe not. Maybe they're just killing like in the black horse or the red horse, and he's given authority for men to kill men, and war and famine and all that. Maybe it's just in general, everybody killing everybody. And now the focus is on these crazy tribulation saints that believe in Jesus Christ. Maybe just now is when that wrath is poured out on them. I don't know. Could be. It says, so remember, I forgot where the passage is, but it says that Satan will never, Jesus said that Satan or his I forgot how it was worded, but it said he'll never overcome the church. Well, right here it says, granted to make power and war with the saints and overcome them. So this is a different group, because Jesus said Satan would never overcome the church, or never overcome the bride of Christ, never overcome the believers at this point after him up until the rapture. It will never overcome the church. But he overcomes them. This is, it says he's given the power and authority for 42 months. I think that's the last 3.5 years. Let's see. So maybe he was just like his world leader, and he comes up this little horn. I think you read in Daniel, it comes up from these 10 horns, or these 10 crowns, the 7 heads, the 10 horns, and maybe this little horn comes up. So there's 11 of them, And he comes up and signs that peace treaty. And then now, so this guy's kind of like known to the world, and he's like leading the world, and he's like, you know, there's peace and safety and things. He's solving all the problems. Now there's food coming back, and, you know, there's prosperity on the planet, and everybody's like, whoo, man, all this death and mayhem and chaos. And this, now we finally got things together. This guy's awesome. You know, he's like a, you know, I guess like to the religion of Democrats, the Obama, you know, like, ooh, Obama, because Obama, to the Democrats, Obama's like the Messiah. You know, and the Democrats, it's a religion. And if you're not a part of their religion, like they say they're for minorities and stuff, but if you're a minority and you believe in you say they just classify yourself as a Republican, they're not for you, you know. So it's definitely a religion. If you're not a part of their religion and believe what they believe, everything, then they're going to castrate you and cast you out, you know. I mean, you see that, you know. It's all about power. I mean, look, Biden's not going to get us the win, so out with you, dude, out with you. So yeah, if you're watching this like in 2029, you know, I dated these videos, but I would imagine these are going to be gone too. They're going to get rid of all these videos. So it's going to be hard for you to find the truth. Maybe burn these and put them on a little flash drive so these people that are left behind, they can pop it in and watch them. So yeah, so it shows you this is all people. His given authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, nation, and all who dwell on the earth. Remember I said people in the book of Revelation, the non-believers, they're all called, they're the ones that dwell on the earth. And you know anybody right now dwells on the earth? Well, these guys are definitely going to be earth dwellers. And they're going to worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life, and of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Verse 9, if anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity, and he who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the faith of the saints. That verse, I don't understand it. I don't know what he's talking about there. I mean, the book of life and all that, the earth dwellers, of course, I understand, but this, you know, he who has an ear, let him hear. And I think it's going to be applied to the people that has a chance to read this while the ones that are here during this time. I don't know if it's for us or not. I don't know. Verse 11, you know, this section right here is like the most famous. You know, famous. If people don't know anything about the Bible, they've heard about this because it's all throughout the culture, movies and music and, you know, plays. And so verse 11, then I saw another beast. Remember, there's two beasts. People getting confused. There's another beast, and he comes out of the earth. You know, I forgot how the people that teach this know far more than me. So one, they say the sea is either the Gentile or the Jew. They believe it may be a Gentile or Jew, and then the others say because it comes out of the earth, it could be a Gentile or Jew. And I forgot which one's applied to which. I think the sea is this supernatural mighty men that, you know, rises up out of the sea, this hybrid race, this whole new deception is on the earth. It's gonna, you know, blow people away. And then maybe you have the guys from the earth, a man, just a full man, you know, like a pope kind of figure. He's gonna come along. He's the false prophet. He's gonna come now. He's coming along. So comes up out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. So these horns was like, maybe he's like gentle and loving. Oh, love is love. And then on the other hand is like, destroy all the non-believers. And he exercised all the authority of the first beast. So remember, all this power was given to him by the dragon. So they say the Antichrist is the devil now, or, you know, they even say he's possessed by him. I don't know, because it talks about these demons that come out of him later on. And I don't think the Antichrist is going to be filled with he's going to allow himself. He's probably like the highest created creature, other than maybe Michael, the archangel, that's ever been created. So is he going to allow a demon to come inside of him and like say things or whatever? I don't know. I think it's talking about somebody else. But anyways, he's given authority, the same authority as the first beast, and in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it, those earth dwellers, those pesky earth dwellers, to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. So his deadly wound was healed. So they believe he died. He was healed. He's resurrected. Now this other beast, he comes in. He's given all the same authority, and he says, you're going to worship this guy right here. He's God. And I would imagine the whole world's gonna be like, like we seen. What was that? Tuesday night. Oh, Obama. that feeling and that the presentation. The whole world's gonna be like, oh, this guy is God. And this beast can come along and you need to worship him. They go, oh, I love him. He's the bestest. Whatever they're gonna say, but they're gonna worship this guy. I mean, he was dead and now he's alive. He's got to be God. Who can fight this guy? Who? Nobody. He's the mighty men of the old. These people that planted the seed on planet Earth and we're just like a test and and they come here to save us and they are the truth. They wrote the Bible. They created this. They are God. I mean, I don't know what they're going to say. It was going to be something like that. I hope we're up there going, I told you, dude. Oh, that's what that meant, though. I hope we're up there watching this. I mean, it's going to be ugly, though, so I don't know if we're going to, I don't know if we're going to watch all this. I mean, we're going to be in the presence of God. I mean, this stuff, I mean, for me now, my flesh, I want to know all this, but in heaven, man, I'm gonna be focused on the Lord and the four living creatures, the throne room, worshiping and singing songs, and these angelic, Jesus opened the seals, and these angels being prepared, and these I love going to concerts. Some concerts, I mean, the show they put on is just like, wow. Or plays, or musicals, or, I mean, it's just like, I love it, man. I love all that kind of entertainment. And this is going to be a million times better. So, anyways, anywho, where were we? So he tells all these earth dwellers, you're going to worship this man who has been healed. So verse 13, he performs great signs, so even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So this guy is, I mean, I'm telling you, the supernatural. We live in this linear world. You think you do? Well, when this stuff, when the rapture happens and this stuff starts taking place, we are definitely living back in the miracles and signs and wonders and from heavens. All that stuff is going to be opened up, and the mankind is, it's going to be blown away. It's going to, you think seeing all the events, the chaos is taking place now, during this time, it is going to be, you're not going to have time to consume it all. It's just going to, it's just going to be unreal. So verse 14, and he deceives those so this guy's going to deceive those who dwell, those earth dwellers, those pesky earth dwellers. He's going to deceive them on the earth by the signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast. So he's granted, they don't have this power. He's given this power to do it in the sight of the beast. Telling those who dwell on the earth, there's those earth dwellers. He's going to tell those who dwell on the earth to make an image of this beast, who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many who would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. So, I don't know if this is going to be like one image, and people are going to like worship this image of him, or if it's, I had some guy who was like talking about, it's going to be this like this blue beam holographic system where it's like anywhere. It's gonna be like temples all over the world. Like say you got a temple in New York, and people live in New York and go to this temple and they can worship this image, and it's gonna talk to them and speak to them, and so somehow there's gonna be this image of the beast is gonna be given life. That he should speak and cause as many who would not. There's this beast system. So if you don't worship him, he's going to give this power to kill him. So when this beast comes on the scene, and the image, if you don't worship him, not going to be good. Not going to be good. So verse 16 says it causes all, both small, great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. Remember I explained why people think that's where it's going to be. and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, and the famous Iron Maiden song, and the number of the beast. Let him who has the understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is a number of man. His number is 666. They start jamming. Sorry, I'm a child of heavy metal. So yeah, this is gonna be crazy. If you survived to this point, whew, this is gonna be awesome and horrifying at the same time. So, and it says everybody, poor, free, slave, rich, big, small, great, you're all going to receive this mark. And if you don't, bye-bye. They're going to come and get you. They're going to kill you. Live! Worldwide! You know, like the UFC, you know, man, you know, the Unbelievers 2050th show of heads being chopped off, you know, get this long, massive line leading them. Ooh, man, it's gonna be crazy. And it's, you know, and so think of this. This was written, what, like 1900 years ago? You know, 1950 years ago, something like that. And, you know, and if you're reading this from that point all the way up until maybe the last 50 years, and they're like, oh, this is allegorical. This is allegorical. No, I believe all this is literal. I mean, the closer we get, the more we learn, the more information we get. This is all literal. It's all literal. It's all going to take place. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could probably teach us, you know, do studies and teach us for another couple hours, but I'm not going to. We're already deep into this episode today, so yeah. Chapter 13, Book of Revelation, Taco Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. I think this whole week we're gonna go through I'm gonna just go through the Book of Romans and dig into that because it's an awesome book. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.